Now that the ALDS and the NLDS matchups are set up, how do you see these matchups playing out over the next couple days or so?
I think that these are going to be interesting matchups. Obviously, I'm going to start in the NL and then work my way back to the AL. The Dodgers and the Padres, that's a division rivalry right there. We all know that the Padres and Dodgers always have incredible series, incredible matchups, whether that's internally 3-game series in the regular season, postseason history, it doesn't make a difference. These two teams play each other very well. I think the Dodgers come out on top solely because they're one of the best teams right behind Houston in terms of the best team in baseball. They have the lineup, they have the pitching staff, and I just think that the bats are a little too inconsistent when it comes to playing San Diego. It showed when they played the Mets the other day. They just couldn't get it going, and the other 2 games, they were on fire. You can't take a day off against the Dodgers. You cannot afford to have an off day against that pitching rotation because once any of those people get into a rhythm, especially Kershaw and those boys, it's hard to come out of. Excuse me. So then I have the Dodgers move. Excuse me again. Moving on. The Phillies, they were the last team to clinch a playoff spot. It's weird. They have the momentum because they just beat a team that they had no business beating. Bryce Harper looked very good. I I think Atlanta wants more. Atlanta had a really rough stretch in the summer months, and they found a way to turn it around in late July, early August to take the division away from the Mets. And I think that they're going to be able to continue to ride that postseason success that they had last year. I know that they lost Freddie Freeman, but I do have them coming out of this matchup because I think they are a better team. Once again, it is another division rivalry because they both play in the NL East. Both teams know each other well. I just think Atlanta is better equipped to go the distance and go and take on the Dodgers in the NLCS. They're going into the bottom quadrant of the ALDS. I have the Mariners and the Houston Astros. I hate the Astros, but I know that they are the best team in baseball. I know that they're probably one of the best well-rounded teams in baseball. And I think that the Mariners, they had their run. They had a very emotional comeback against Toronto, and they came back from, I think, 8-1, and they ended up winning that game to move on to the next round. So I know that they're hot. They're excited. They haven't been in the playoffs in the last 20 years, but I have no reason to believe that Houston is going to choke this away and throw it basically out of the freaking window to lose to a team that's young, inexperienced. They haven't necessarily done anything meaningful over the last couple of years. They've come close to making the playoffs, but again, this is the first time they've made it in 20 years. So I'll safely take Houston. Now, with the Yankees, bias aside, this is going to be complicated for me because I know that we own Cleveland in the playoffs over the last couple of years. I know that for a fact that we tend to beat them up in the playoffs in either the wild card or the DS. I can't trust Garrett Cole. My biggest fear is that Garrett Cole, who is officially announced to start game one, he just gets rocked in the postseason quickly. He gets rattled. He tends to fall apart really fast, and he gets unraveled. He gets unraveled early in games. He does settle in the third and fourth innings. It's just those first 2 to 3 innings he just struggles, whether that's a pitch that's leaning high, a pitch that he misplaced, or, a hitter actually just puts the ball out and, Garrett paints the picture as perfectly as you can. But for whatever reason, he just can't do it in the postseason with the Yankees. So I'm nervous that game one is going to be the most difficult game of the series because when Cole starts a series, it always starts off rough. And the Guardians, let's be honest, they did what they needed to do against Tampa. Obviously, they went 15 innings in their last game, so it was a bit of a struggle. I know that the Yankees are one of the most powerful, if not the most powerful team in terms of hitting home runs in the league. So if we can get into a rhythm, Judge, Stanton, Trevino, Bader, it's going to be one of those games where it could end up being, or series that it could be blown out of proportion, or it could very well be one of those where we go stagnant. The Yankees are a very inconsistent team as well. We all know the second half of the season that they had where they were leading the division by 16 games. It went all the way down to 4.5. They ended up blowing it back up to 9. They're just very weird. They're very weird. If we get the Yankees of the first half, we should be fine. If we get the Yankees of the second half, I'm going to shit my pants. But I will say that I have the Yankees coming out of this round and facing the Houston Astros in a rematch for the ALCS.